Hey guys, Riot here.
Happy Riot podcast.
Have you ever wondered what Nikki would do for an iPhone X? How far would she go?
iPhone 10.
Oh, see, you'll notice that she's not offended by the fact that she would go to great lengths to acquire one.
No.
The great offense is that I would pronounce it incorrectly.
You know what I'm so bummed about, too, is I'm going to want an iPhone 10. I'm going to. It's just how it is. It's just I've understand it, and after looking at all the stuff yesterday, I'm okay with it. Now comes the part of I try to figure out how to make it happen. But the problem is I just moved, so I sold a bunch of things I didn't need anymore, and that went towards the expenses of moving.
Yep.
So now it's like I have nothing else. I have to figure out what to do.
I think, we explore some of that, but I feel like selling plasma and stuff.
I've never done that before.
I don't think it pays all that well.
I would have to do a lot.
You would. You would
be so busy between now and when the phone comes out. Does anybody want like a DJ assistant? I can come and laugh with you.
There
and
you go.
Cry with you and do some Skype sessions, something.
Train you?
Yeah, like not even to train you to be a DJ, but just
Life
you get
training.
to have a DJ who just comes and hangs out with you.
I think it's great. Great idea. Let's do it.
That might be an option, but we're working on it. Just like everybody else, we're working on it.
Mm-hmm. Other things to expect: Coca-Cola coffee, Hedonism and hammocks, Christmas crepe, birthday cards, and birthday. Is the birthday restaurant discussion in here? It is.
You should put that in there.
It's
if
in
not,
there. It's a sad little discussion, but it's there.
It's not. It's great.
So, hey, you guys enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can always catch up with us. Riot.radiou.com.
Radio U Riot on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the Riot.
Bye-bye.
Baby's crying. Nails on a chalkboard. Your girlfriend saying, "We need to talk." The worst of the Riot. Yep, it really is that bad. On Radio U.
I've always loved you and I always will.
It is the Riot on Radio U. You've been in your car before. You've been in someone's car. I'm willing to bet that everyone within the sound of my voice has been in a car.
Yeah, I would think that's a real sweeping statement you can make.
I think it seems fair. I think it does, right? So you're in a car and you've seen a U-Haul. I would be willing to bet that everyone within the sound of my voice has been in a car and they've seen a U-Haul.
True.
A truck, a trailer, a something. Now, Nikki, when you see a U-Haul trailer, what do you think is in it?
Someone's moving. And first I look to see what like little animal or what city and state thing is being featured. And I always wonder, I'm like, did the person come from like, they drive it across country and they move and then you're seeing where it's at. But yeah, I always assume someone's just moving.
Someone's just moving. Yeah. Here's a news flash, is that inside that U-Haul could just be a dead body.
Oh, really?
This is amazing. I will never
Not
look
a
at
good
a U-Haul
amazing,
truck.
but a bad amazing.
I will never look at a U-Haul truck again. There was a couple that just had their U-Haul stolen in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Yeah.
They were using that U-Haul to transport the body of, I don't know if it was the wife's dad.
Yeah.
So they were transporting his body for
so
burial.
It wasn't like murder.
Nope, not murder.
Oh, I thought it was that. Okay.
Inside the U-Haul, if you had opened it, you would have found a casket.
Sure.
Inside the casket, the person.
I guess I assume you weren't ever allowed to really do that yourself. Like that had to be the funeral company.
Right there. Like you assume that there is some kind of special
protocol,
something that has to take place in order for you to do that. You have to contract with the whatever people to do the thing. And apparently not true.
You're allowed to just take a casket and a body somewhere?
I mean, okay, maybe they had paperwork or something. I don't know. It just feels like you need something.
Well, I guess where were they going again?
Okay, they were going from Oklahoma to Kirtland, New Mexico.
And
that's where
funeral?
the funeral was going to be, was in Kirtland, New Mexico.
Again, normally the funeral home transports, but I've not ever been a part of a funeral where it's been in a different state.
Right. Well, me either.
So maybe it's so much money, and so they just were trying to do it themselves.
Yeah, maybe a less expensive option. But they were doing it, and then someone stole the U-Haul, and they experienced the hugest letdown of their thievery career. They think someone's moving across the country. They've got some couches, they've got some appliances, some stuff that they can go ahead and fence on Craigslist, and ho, ho, ho.
Oh, it's the poor body. It's their would you say father or grandfather?
Yeah. I will tell you right now, though, that moment when I steal the U-Haul and I open it up and there's a casket in there, I'm terrified. And I don't think, eventually reason takes over. But my thought is not someone is transporting their dead relative. I think, oh no, I've just stolen a vampire that was being transported to their new crypt.
No, I would feel like I stole something and someone was murdered. I guess I would think that at first, even though there was a casket, I just wouldn't know what to do. And then you feel really bad, like you need to get it back to the person because, that's for a funeral.
Oh, man.
So did they find the body?
Well, they found the casket, not far from the hotel. Apparently, they
abandoned it.
And then, they removed the casket from the U-Haul and then later abandoned the U-Haul.
They were trying. They were trying to get something.
Real talk, I would have just chucked it all. You know what? Hey, in fact, we're just going to drive it back. Let's just pull it back in there.
If I thought that it's like, oh no, that's someone's relative and we've messed this up, I would have taken it back too.
Even if I thought it was a vampire that could potentially hunt me from beyond the grave, I would have also taken it back because my hope is maybe they didn't notice. We have to get out of here.
Yes.
How does Nikki put up with Obadiah day after day? It's easy. We pay her. Radio U.
Well, yesterday was the day that the iPhone X was announced. Now, they want us to call it the iPhone 10.
But Obi's refusing.
But I don't think I'm going to. I'm sure at some point I'm going to bend to peer pressure. And, of course, people will think that when they hear me say iPhone X, they'll be like, oh, he's an idiot. He doesn't know.
He's getting it wrong, but he's doing this not even on principle. You're just doing it to do it.
You know what? I just think that they want it to sound refined. And I feel like by using the X, you can't have it both ways.
Sure, but
you put an X on it. Now, you can call it a 10, but we all know it's a lie. It's extreme.
They did release the details on, let's see, it was a long list. Actually, a lot more than I feel like they normally do. But you've got the iPhone 8 and the 8 Plus, and then you've got the iPhone 10, which is the iPhone X for everybody else who looks at that. You've got a new Apple Watch, and what else did they do?
The TV 4K.
4K Apple TV.
That's a better deal. There's one detail in the middle of all of that makes it a way better deal than you think it is. And I will tell you, you know what? Let's not tease it. Let's just say it. They announced yesterday that any movie that you've bought in HD on iTunes, you now own in 4K.
That's impressive.
It's huge because no one else is doing that. They are charging you again for the movie in 4K, and they are charging you $35, $40 for the movie in 4K.
That's really kind of kicking you into 4K land where it hasn't really taken off. It's where it's like everybody has it. But this is getting you more willing to cross over to 4K.
Well, and it comes down to hey, come to iTunes, pay $14.99 or $19.99 for a movie, and you'll get it in 4K, which right now, competing services like I use Vudu and have loved it, but to buy a movie in 4K on Vudu is at least $30.
I am very
if not more.
Surprised that they were able to do that, because technically I would have thought studios would have said, no way, you need to. I don't know where that line is.
I don't either. I don't know where all of that is. Well, back to the iPhone X. It's going to have a... What?
iPhone 10.
No, Nikki, don't toe the company line.
I will.
Don't do what they tell you to do.
I will. It
go ahead and no. Just go ahead and say it.
I do want one. I do, but it's so much money. $1,000 by November. I don't know if I can do that.
Can I see a show of hands for everybody who thinks that Nikki will have one before Christmas? Look at all those hands, Nikki.
I was thinking Christmas.
Put them back on the wheel. Back on the wheel, guys.
I was thinking Christmas time.
You're getting one.
I would like one.
As soon as they showed it yesterday, I was like, well, you can just go ahead and put, can Nikki get her name put on it, or what do we need to do here?
But yes, it is $1,000. It has Face ID. It has the edge-to-edge screen display. No home button. So a lot of the things that people were talking about before their announcements yesterday for all the Apple stuff, a lot of people were spot on with it. So those details were true.
5.8 inches, so a larger screen. And it will have an AMOLED display, which is if you've never seen one, it's very nice on a phone, and it's the highest resolution that they have yet had on one, and it's available in 64 gig.
Oh, gosh, it's so much, because I need the bigger one then.
64 gig is $1,000, and then, of course, you can get the 256 gig one for...
That's so big.
Is it $1,200?
I don't even know.
It's more.
Yeah.
And they say, of course, the camera is one of the big
features on it.
Plus, it is wrapped in glass. It's all glass, but they say it's the strongest iPhone yet.
But that's the iPhone 8s. Those are now in glass as well.
Right.
Which was the iPhone 4. The 4 was the last time it had glass.
And it's as Nikki had mentioned, there's no bezel, which is kind of a big deal. And I know this is trolling, and I really don't mean it that way, but now it looks just like an Android phone.
All of them look the same.
It looks not exactly, but darn close to the Samsung Galaxy. Is it 8? Is that whatever?
I don't know. This is the 10 or the X.
Whatever the latest is. Okay, that's the other thing I think when I look at it. It's kind of like when when Microsoft made the Xbox 360, they were up against the PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. And so instead of calling it the Xbox 2,
you think
they called it the 360 because I know for a fact that they were like, hey, we can't not have a 3 in our title if they're going to have a 3 in theirs. And to me, I feel like Apple has been like, all right, we got all these 8s. Now we got to have a 10.
We got to go to 10.
We're going to 10.
So if anybody else, along with me, would like to brainstorm about how we can sell what else we own, all we have to do is come up. For me, I'd have to do the larger size. So all I have to do is come up with $1,200 by what? Is it November 2nd or whenever they're coming out? I can do this.
Oh, I don't have the date in front of me.
I can just skip some lunches. We're totally great. This is fine. I want to pack more anyways.
I like the idea of you sitting at your own life. Well, I was going to have a 5-star lunch today, so there's $100.
I'm not. I now have motivation to not eat out.
I was going to drive across the country and I didn't. There's $200.
Skipping that. Skip a lot of stuff, and you'll have that new phone.
Sometimes a bad example is the best example. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
iPhones want to turn your face into an emoji.
That looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know, because pretty soon we are all going to be plugged in and we'll be the batteries for the machines.
That's true. So yesterday was the big Apple press conference. So today you'll just keep hearing about all the new Apple stuff that they talked about and how much it costs.
One day you and your phone will be one. And you're like, we already are. No.
Even more.
So we just want to know what it costs. And on the phone is?
Well, you want the price of the entry level for the iPhone 10.
Off contract.
Just the one that they mentioned for their pricing yesterday. You've got Chad. He was first with the correct answer.
What's your answer, Chad?
The correct answer is $999.
You're
correct,
right.
sir.
Very good.
Hey, Chad, do you want an iPhone X?
10.
My wife does. I don't.
Okay.
I'm just probably going to get
The 8?
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because your wife's ridiculous.
Well, hey, watch it there. Easy there.
No,
Easy
I want him on record. Couldn't you hear? Didn't you hear the tone in his voice? Go ahead, Chad. Say what you need to say.
Do not say anything. No way.
I heard it.
Ridiculous.
I heard it.
Well, you have a better day, because if she finds out you said that, but also have a great morning. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I heard it. He's like, my wife
bringing people together.
wants an iPhone X.
Obie's helping everybody.
The iPhone Extreme.
10.
Extreme.
10.
Man, pretty soon it's going to be the iPhone XXX, and Vin Diesel's going to be out there squeezing it with his hand. Look, I can't break it.
For that pricing, he comes with the phone, and he'll hold the phone up for you if you actually answer any phone calls.
That seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Because, your phone's ringing, and it's someone who just wants to let you know about an emergency with your electric, and you need to call them quickly.
And why not?
Of course you do.
So, we got into some of the details earlier, but bottom line, $1,000, edge-to-edge screen, 5.8 inches large.
It looks so nice.
It looks beautiful, and I will say it looks just like several Android phones now available. I feel like they were a little behind on the screen tech, and they have caught up in a big way. It's covered in glass, so the back is glass as well.
So your back can break too.
Right.
You want to be able to shatter both sides of your phone.
That's right.
If you've never done that before, that's special.
When you drop it, now you have two things that are broken,
Yay.
not just one. So that's good news. What else is...
Well, for the price, you want to be able to do that.
So a lot of the face recognition tech, they're making a big deal of. And as we said, it will actually... You can choose an emoji and then make an expression at your phone. So smile, whatever it is you want to do.
Emoji will take on the face that you're making.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Scary, but cool.
It's awesome. It's not $1,000 or $999 awesome, but it's something.
Nikki, we are only a couple of weeks from you coming in here.
I'm going to have one. I just have to make it happen.
You're going to be a little embarrassed about the price, but you're going to be so excited to have it. I can already see your body language and the way you...
Yes, I really
can
want
see
one.
it. I see it plainly because I don't know if you know, this is a conversation we've had more than once.
Every time Apple comes out with it. I know.
The first time we have had this conversation.
I'm not proud, but I need to raise the money first.
Okay.
So I'll be having a small garage sale.
Car wash / bake sale.
Plasma donation. I would like to maybe perhaps work in a trial for some sort of upcoming antibiotic.
Oh my gosh.
If anybody has any details, I'll get in line and help with that.
I've lost the use of the ring finger on my left hand, but it was totally worth it.
With the facial recognition, I am having an easier time with my new phone.
Don't even need that one anyway.
So yes, I would like the iPhone 10.
X.
10.
X.
Just say 10.
We searched for something positive to say about the riot and finally came up with one word. Consistent. Consistently terrible, but still consistent. Radio U.
I think this is the exact same time that we talked about this yesterday.
So
and
let's
I'm
be
just
consistent.
sorry. I'm sorry. But last night...
Like, if this is the one time you're listening to the show and you're like, you guys just...
stop it!
Stop it already.
Shut up! I get it.
Instead, make sure to stay tuned tomorrow.
So off air, Nikki and I have been talking about, because we live sad little lives, where we're going to eat lunch for my birthday next week.
That's not sad little lives. That's planning for a party.
Let me tell you something about working at Radio U. You have no control over anything except one thing.
One small thing.
There's one thing that absolutely every member of this organization has absolute control over, that they can dictate to everyone else and boss them around.
And that would be?
You get to tell everybody where you're having your birthday lunch.
And you're like, well, what's the big deal about that? No, it is important.
Oh, it is a cultural thing around here.
We have like a 5-mile like lunch okay radius where we don't go out of. You can go out of that if you want for your lunch. You can have a longer lunch.
That's exactly right.
So you can eat lunch at different times. Like, it's just all about, well, rightfully so, it's going to be your birthday next week.
All right, I want to say what's up to the Durek who just texted in and said chicken fingers. Now,
you would think he'd want that, but that he can have any lunchtime that he wants.
I toyed around with an O'Charlie's trip because what I love to do, and the Durek knows this, I like to go there and get their Chipotle barbecue chicken fingers.
Yeah.
Mouth watering just a little bit right now as I think about it.
But you're not going with that? You want something else?
What if we did Mongolian barbecue?
Now, that's the place where you go and you do the work yourself and take it to the person with the sticks.
You pile the bowl as high as you can.
They try to have some witty conversation with you while you stand there awkwardly waiting for them to take the egg.
And they're like, oh, yeah, want some egg on it, big guy.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you hear this.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And then you're
right
like,
there.
okay, I would like my sauce, and I'm going back to the table.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, and then I had another thought last night, and this again shows you the sad little world that I live in. They have a Coke freestyle machine there.
Oh, boy. Is it out or like...
No, you have to order it. But if it's your birthday...
Are you going to have soda on your birthday?
No, because then I started thinking about the cocaine addict that's like, I just have cocaine on my birthday.
Addict, it's Coke.
I know.
Just Coke.
But it's the same kind of problem. And then
you have clear soda.
Well, I had a negotiation with myself in which I decided that I might allow, a cherry 7-Up Or maybe just a 7-Up, because the other thing I've started to notice is I think the cherry flavoring and stuff makes me sick.
Oh, well, you can do the Sprite vanilla that I like.
That's an option. But like I have already negotiated out what I'm allowed to drink that day.
Sure.
Which means now that we've drawn a line, we'll just think of a way to step over it.
Well,
because
you fall over there.
Because that's the way.
So is that what you want for your birthday then? Little
Nikki,
Mongolian?
I've still got 8 days to spend thinking about it. I've got a chart upstairs that I've been working on in my office in secret.
He's doing a quick study, so he'll do a quick Twitter poll to find out what should be the best option for him on his birthday.
Yeah, because, I mean, the thing that's rough about going to the Mongolian place is they're not going to have French fries, but here's what I was thinking, right? So you get to say where you want your birthday lunch at work, but then I was thinking that maybe I could, wrestle like a birthday dinner out of like my mom.
And then get some chicken fingers.
And it might be chicken fingers and fries. So,
well, just let me know, because Mongolian is good, except it's fast until it's time to get the check. And then suddenly it slows down to a crawl.
You have to ask them for your check as soon as you get there. And they're like, you haven't even ordered.
Like,
oh,
no,
we know.
I need it now.
We know. That's how long it takes. It's about 90 minutes to get your check ready, sir.
That's about it.
My favorite part of the worst of the riot, when they shut up and the music starts. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I don't know if I could get back on the soda train in maybe a cheating, not cheating kind of way with this. That's only available in Japan, but oh so curious. Coca-Cola Coffee Plus.
Looks really kind of odd. Looks like the small cans of Coke.
Yeah, like a small Red Bull, right?
Yeah, like a small Red Bull. And in Japan, they have a lot of vending machines where you can get these cans, and they can come hot or cold.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like this one will come out hot, like from a vending machine.
I don't think so.
You think it's cold?
I thought it said that in the article. Now, I could be wrong, though. Like, maybe I just assumed it was cold.
But this is a Coca-Cola coffee.
Oh, it sounds good.
And they say the smell is something. Like, everyone keeps bringing up the smell must be pretty bad.
I love it because, like this guy did a review of it, and they've translated from Japanese, and what they say is that it has a not very delicious aroma.
Curious or an odd smell to it. But it seems like you take a drink of it, the Coca-Cola coffee tastes like Coke first, and then the aftertaste is coffee, which is kind of weird to have.
Well, I'll tell you that if one is laying out the best parts of coffee, I feel like the aftertaste would be the least favorite part of a cup of coffee.
Sure.
Because, at least in my mind, coffee tends to be bitter the longer it stays in your mouth. Like, that's when you really start to hit the bitter highlights of the flavor.
Coca-Cola Coffee Plus has about 34 milligrams of caffeine and 42 calories. And the coffee is from coffee powder.
34 milligrams of caffeine, not that much compared to, say, a cup of coffee or a Mountain Dew or something like that. Because in a cup of coffee, they say an average of somewhere between 70 and 90 milligrams, I think. And I want to say that Mountain Dew is 90. But I could be wrong about that. That's just me speculating, trying to remember from the one time. The ASCII Gourmet actually reviewed it, and that's where this translation is from. And they said,
quite like it.
Yeah, that it was,
Out of all the things that we desire for treats and drinks to be brought over from Japan, I'm not looking forward to this the most.
I would try it.
Well, it'd be very interesting, but I don't know. It wouldn't be something I would. There's other things in line first. If you brought me the first, the whole Kit Kat store first.
Then you might be willing.
Then the Coca-Cola coffee drink, maybe that'd be the right order.
Nikki and I go to Japan, and all we do is we get a hotel room where how close is to the Kit Kat store? And it's like, well, did you guys see the blah, blah, blah?
No, I want to go to the Kit Kat store.
No, we made several trips to the Kit Kat store. And
I would be so embarrassed when we do go to Japan to come back through customs because it'd be all candy in my suitcase. And then they give you that little note, if you've ever gone out of the country, they'll give you this note when you come back, and they're like, well, we've searched your bag. And well, you saw all that.
I just flew from Orlando, and I got that note.
You got the note too?
My bag, I will tell you, my bag looked like it had been beat old, I don't know what.
Really?
Yeah. And then I open it up, and there's this note.
You're
the
like,
TSA
sorry
has
about
searched your
that.
bag. Just like, really, my bag? It looks so unassuming and nice.
They just had you flagged.
I got flagged.
So if you are in Japan, look for the Coca-Cola coffee as something to potentially try.
All right. And let us know how it is. And more importantly, bring some back for us.
Ever wonder what Nikki is doing when she isn't rioting? Find her Twitter feed at riot.radiou.com. Obadiah is there too, but who cares what he's doing?
Sure, we've all done it. We've been in our car to look over to only see the most beautiful woman in the world. And even though she's not looking at you, you're sure there's a connection. You know,
you
can
something?
you can just feel that if she was looking at you,
she'd love you.
That would be great. And, you know, up until now, you could either just follow her home and try to make conversation.
That might seem a bit drastic.
So not to be weird, but I followed you all the way home because I thought you were so beautiful. Weird.
Now, I don't know if a person would feel flattered, but then incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, it's hard. Just as a side note, I wasn't going to go there, but it's hard to know because I know a couple of people that when they tell their love story, I think it's creepy.
Because it is a bit intense like that.
It's just like, guys. And that really is what defines creepy, is in the moment, is the girl flattered or freaked out? Because if they're flattered, then it becomes the most wonderful love story. Let's make a movie.
And if she's freaked out, then you're out. Mm-hmm. And that then gives mixed messages to other guys who are just like looking in like, oh, is that an approach I can take with trying? Yeah, then you don't know because for some it works, some it does not.
Okay, so that's one option, follow home. Two, the other option is that, you know, you could just post on Craigslist misconnections like some kind of loser.
I forgot they had that section.
Like, hey, you weren't looking at me, but I was staring at you.
You wouldn't even know.
I know. That's where it gets hard. But, Nikki, there is a third option that's floating that we've it's been featured on the show before, but it's not an option for everybody. It's only for some people. And that is if you are a police officer and you just...
Oh, though you pull the lady over. I've heard of that before.
Just go ahead and pull her over and, you know...
Not supposed to get numbers that way.
Talk to him a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, this is crazy. This guy, Marquise Prather.
Officer Marquise?
Officer Marquise. He has admitted to pulling women over to this is where it gets crazy. Not just ask them out on dates. On some, he would demand to see their phone. And he would go through their phones.
Really? Oh, no, we can't do that.
Yeah. So here's the thing that's amazing is that, dude, he would scroll through their phones, see if they had any photos of themselves that he liked, and he would email or message those photos
that is so
to
awkward.
himself and sometimes to a friend.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad he got in trouble for that.
Yeah. So I guess we're just going to go ahead and
say... completely freaky.
So you would rather...
I'd rather someone follow me home.
Yeah? Or maybe that Craigslist misconnections?
Maybe something like that. Okay. Actually, I don't really like any of these three.
You don't like any of the options?
It's not my style, but no. For the police officer, because they always say, you know, like, well, what if he really likes her and they connected that way? But he's a police officer. And so in that role, in that position, if he's pulled you over for something... it's kind of not really fair.
Well, he's pulling you over for
looking good.
I'm sorry. You're creating a public disturbance.
Someone's breaking the law.
You're too good looking. Traffic, there ought to be a law.
No, but, maybe if he pulled you over for that is kind of flattery. But if you were being pulled over for an actual infraction.
Okay, here's my thought. And again, I'm not a girl, so I don't know. But my thought is if I was a girl and a police officer pulled me over because, I was hot, my concern is that if he does that for me and we're in a relationship, okay, that's been appropriate behavior at work for how long? Are you still doing that?
So how many times he's doing that?
How many people have you pulled over and it hasn't worked?
You're right.
That's my problem is that it's just like when a friend says something bad about another friend, you're like, that's interesting. Now, what are you saying about me to them? So, you know what?
Hey, you know what? Lesson learned here.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Everybody, stop following people home. No more Craigslist misconnections. Actually, you should because those are great to read.
And if the officer does that, just feel free to report him right away.
Yeah.
at Goat Farm is looking more and more likely every day. It's the worst of the riot.
So CNN has got an editorial today that says that we should embrace hedonism. Now, hedonism is a lifestyle in which you would maximize pleasure and minimize pain.
Do what you want sort of thing, kind of.
No, they bring up an interesting point, is that most of us, when we think of hedonism, we think of debauchery, which is just indulging in every kind of excess. But they're saying, no. The idea is that, basically learning to just sit here and enjoy the things you enjoy. Like, I love this cup of coffee so much. So it's so great to be here with you, Nikki, enjoying this cup of coffee.
Because sometimes if you're enjoying something, there's like 18 other things going on at the same moment. So you can't really enjoy the main thing that you want to enjoy at that moment.
So their idea, and I didn't catch the guy's byline, but the idea is that we should just enjoy the things that we enjoy. It doesn't mean things get out of control.
Sure.
It just means that you enjoy it. I like, actually, for me, a classic line from C.S. Lewis. He's an author. You should look him up. He says that God is what did he call him? The great hedonist. That's in the Screw Tape Letters. It's a great line, because you never think of God as being the great hedonist, but the idea that God invented the things that you love. He invented pleasure. It's a weird thought. But so, Nikki, today, I'm all in on hedonism.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy.
Are you enjoying the coffee?
Everything. The coffee and what? Look at over here, the coffee's little friend.
Oh, you got some water.
Look at this jug of water that he's got. Have you guys ever tasted water? It's so good.
Oh, gosh.
Like, water is so good.
The whole day I'll just hear you from your office be like, this is great.
Look at this. Got a little container here of brown sugar.
Oh, man.
When's the last time you had some brown sugar, Nikki?
Not like that.
What if my friend Brown Sugar met my other little friend Coffee, and they were together, and we were just enjoying it.
They're enjoying the moment. Sure.
Yeah, and you know what?
That's a good lesson.
I'm going to minimize pain today. Like, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to leave, and I'm just going to go.
That's where I think it should be going.
And I'm just going to be. All right? I'm just going to be. Yeah, and if I start encountering things I don't like, I'm just going to leave that place. And I'm going to keep leaving places until I only encounter the stuff that I like, because that's my new thing.
Eventually, that feels like once you just take a nap. So then you'll be.
Isn't that the ultimate leaving?
Yes, that's like home base right there.
We should take a nap.
Just leave and then ready to go back.
What do you think about staff hammocks? All right, everybody has their own hammock.
Oh, sounds nice.
We've got all that room that, for the most part, like during the day, we don't use the TV studio.
That's hammock space.
That is hammock space. All right, and I want to install skylights so that we can, look out and see the beautiful day while we're in our hammock. And I'm going to need a fan to simulate a breeze. And depending on what I'm looking for, I'll need something that either spits out a warm breeze or a cold breeze.
Sure.
It just depends on the day. I also want a blanket for my hammock. This is going to be a great day, guys.
It's going to take a little time to set up, but you're almost there.
Hey, I've got time.
Don't want to talk to the riots? We completely understand. Text instead. 877-2-RADIO-U.
When you go to Hallmark, and I'm not saying you should.
Not saying you do.
But if you did, or, if you went to the grocery store or something, like to grab.
Want to get a card?
To grab a card, but you don't get the full effect like you do when you go to a card store, because at the grocery store, they're like birthday for girlfriend, for mom, for girlfriend's mom, for dad's grandpa. Like, they have stuff, but it's always like birthday, anniversary. But when you go to Hallmark, they have every category of card you can possibly imagine.
Now, I don't go too often, but I feel like they also just try to throw anything and everything that they can sell to you.
Well, that's also true.
So I don't feel like it's quite just about the cards like it used to be.
And we may get into this later, but they put their ornaments out in July.
Oh, do they?
Their new line of ornaments comes out in July. I learned that yesterday.
Oh, Christmas time.
It's coming.
It's coming soon.
Nikki, I got something for us. We're going to talk Christmas a little bit. So just save up all those sides.
Let's just talk cards.
So, think about this. You can go in there and it's like, we're sorry you broke the third finger on your left toe. Like, you can find cards for everything.
The cards are more specific to a need.
It is. But the one card that they currently do not stock there is they do not have a card that says, Dear neighbors, I'm so sorry I started the wildfire.
Oh, yeah, well...
They don't have a card for that.
That's a niche, a small one.
It is. It is. But I want you to know that I found a guy that probably would have bought that card if they would have made it.
Did he start a fire?
Well, he did.
Accidentally or on purpose?
His name is Jason Orvis. He is a worker who builds... he built a kids coaster on his property, but that's for fun. Like the neighborhood kids go over and do that. But he builds adventure zones for kids. So he builds ropes courses, zip lines, climbing towers, coasters, and people hire him to come in privately and publicly.
Build it on their property or their business.
Yep. And so he is from Bountiful, Utah. And last week in his backyard, he was using, I think, a sander or grinder or something, using some wood, generated some sparks.
Ooh.
Those sparks caught the grass. He, of course, has to keep a fire extinguisher near him. He grabbed the fire extinguisher, and this is hard for me to understand, but in the time it took for him to grab the fire extinguisher and start using it, the wildfire had already spread beyond what he could control.
Could be maybe it was extremely dry. It's been hot, so
it is.
I bet you it was just so dry it just really lit quickly.
It did, and it spread. Now, his entire neighborhood was put on standby for evacuation. Firefighters were brought in. They did manage to control the wildfire and eventually put it out. But he said that, man, what do I do here? Like, this was my fault. I'm very sorry for what happened. He's
an accident.
It is. It's an accident. So he had homemade jam, and he distributed homemade jam to everybody in his neighborhood and just said, hey, I'm sorry that this happened.
Aw, poor guy.
Well, I'll have to say, in a society that takes responsibility for nothing.
And he'll be like, that wasn't me, even though it was obviously you.
The guy that's like, hey, guys, here's some jam. I'm sorry about what happened.
Even the fact that he's making jam. Like, where is this again?
It's in Utah, Nikki.
I guess that's what you do.
Things are different there.
I would have sent like an Amazon gift card or something.
Okay, all right. Well, just do things a little different. You're a city girl. He's a country guy.
He's a country boy.
You guys are going to be in a Hallmark movie together real soon.
That's right. I accidentally received one of the jam deliveries.
And you go to return it?
And I was like, wait, you're a good man. Okay. And then we fall in love.
He obviously answers the door in a flannel.
True.
And maybe suspenders.
No, he's not at the house.
He's not. He's out back.
He's out back working, and I have to walk around, and
Absolutely.
I'm just like, what's all this?
Absolutely.
And he's building the new playground for the kids center, so he's very nice.
I almost feel like you ran into him in town and you were offended by him, and then you were on your way to return the jam.
This is a Hallmark movie.
And then you realize that he makes kids stuff, and you think there must be something nice about him, but he started that fire, so I hate him. And then... Like, there's a whole thing there.
No, it started the fire that was a threat to, like, my grandfather's house.
Yep.
And I was there visiting
there.
from the city, and I don't accept gifts because, like, us from the city, we don't answer the door.
Now, if you'll sit down and put your tray table up, I'm going to bring us to a full circle.
Let's do it.
Because I feel like this guy whose movie's on the Hallmark Channel was in a Hallmark store looking for an apology card for starting the wildfire.
It's brought to you by them.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
It is the Riot on Radio U, your official morning show for Christmas creep. If you don't know what that is, it's when you start seeing Christmas stuff too soon. Too soon, guys!
We like to, anytime we can talk about Christmas, no matter where we're at in the calendar year, we're more than welcome to do it.
Oh, me loves me some Christmas, Nikki. Me really, really does. Now, Christmas creep is something Nikki and I first heard about officially titled that way through The Consumerist. They're a website. It's actually run by Consumer Reports, and they have all kinds of fun things from day to day. But right now, they've put out a plea saying, hey,
if you see it,
we want you guys to email us or text us or whatever your photos of Christmas creep.
So if you see Christmas items in the stores already, that's what you're sending a picture of.
Here's what I love about it, though, is that they have some qualifiers. They say that Hallmark is not count. It doesn't count. They say that their ornaments come out in July. That's just their thing, whatever. They also say Hobby Lobby doesn't count.
It's a craft place.
Because as a craft store, they put stuff out super early. The other places that they say don't count are any kind of craft store. So they said, but they called Hobby Lobby out specifically because things come out far in advance. So their photo features, and I love this, a skeleton standing above a bunch of wrapping paper. And that's at a Costco right now because on the one side are the Halloween decorations and on the other are the Christmas decorations.
They usually have wrapping paper out way early or bows and ribbons. That's what I've seen. And then the Christmas stuff starts coming out too.
Do you decorate for Halloween?
I have 3 small pumpkin things that I put out if I remember it.
Yeah.
But that's it. I have like no other decorations. And I'll go to like a pumpkin patch and pick a pumpkin out like a real one, but otherwise that's it for Halloween and Thanksgiving.
I mean, I'll do a pumpkin, maybe even a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, but outside it's just we move right on to Christmas.
You just like forget this noise.
Yeah, and there's nothing really for Thanksgiving that we do too.
You put out a what's that thing? Like the little curly thing, and then it opens up.
I want to call it a Copacabana.
No,
and
that
it's
is,
not that,
but you're
but I'm
so
close to it. What is that word?
Is it a cornucopia?
Cornucopia, I think so.
Is that what it's called?
Thanksgiving cornucopia.
Yep, that's what it is. That's also, remember from the Hunger Games, they had the thing, the cornucopia. It's fine. Shh.
No, that's great. In case you didn't know, that's also this Thanksgiving thing.
No big deal. Yeah, okay, so, all right. Well,
so if you
it's
see
up there.
something and you want to send it to the consumerist, that's an option. If you see Christmas creep.
Hey, you know what? My standards continue to be relaxed. I have friends that they say that Christmas music is fine after Labor Day. I think, to me, it's like, it's too early. But if I walk into a store and I see Christmas decorations after Labor Day, I don't get mad about it.
Sure.
Now,
you just got to take a picture.
When it's October, and there's this one gas station that I used to go to buy soda, but since I don't buy soda anymore, I never visit those people. But one time pre-Halloween, they were playing all Christmas music. That also felt a little too soon.
Well, that's pushing past 2 holidays.
Yeah.
So you got to watch.
I don't know. But then again, Nikki and I, we're not here to criticize. We're just here to Christmas-size.
I know. You hate the Riot. Why are they on the radio?
Stupid. Yeah.
Honestly, we can't trust them with anything else. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Hey, you ever find yourself in a position where you left the house, you forgot to take a shower? I mean, I've walked out and forgotten deodorant before.
Or you're afraid you have.
Yeah. Or, you walk out and you're afraid, oh my gosh, I didn't brush my teeth today.
Sure.
Different things like that.
Like getting dressed or you forgot an actual item.
I forgot my belt before. You forget something. But it's nice to know that there are places around that you can go to get things taken care of. Here's a woman, for example, in Georgia who I can't confirm, but I believe she may have forgotten to take a shower because she headed to her local Kroger, which is a grocery store, and she went into the
produce section.
And in the produce section, I don't know if your grocery store has this, but mine does. It's amazing. You go in and just hang on to be clear. I mean, the grocery store near my house, I shop a lot of places. We're not in a relationship.
Sure, no.
Because I said my store, and it's not really my store. But what they'll do is every once in a while, I don't know how often, these little things will come down and they'll spray all the fresh produce with water.
Basically, it just cleans them off and washes them.
Yeah. So she climbed into the case and got a good hose down from the water, and then she began using the lettuce to wipe down her arms and her legs.
Man, she either lost it or she was on something. I don't know which. But
we watched the video. She seemed a little bothered. But what if she was just bothered by a lack of personal hygiene as she started her day?
It's because of what she was saying, which we won't repeat all of it. It's not safe for the lettuce. But it was a lot about she was going to steal. She felt bad, the guilt. I don't know what else I can say because, again, I can't repeat those words.
Right, okay, all right. So loss prevention came over.
Yeah.
And talked to her.
Well, they couldn't get her out of the lettuce at first. So it's the one along the wall.
Yeah, because, it's spraying out. So what happened to...
The store has to go away.
Do you think so?
The whole department.
The whole department?
No, but the whole rack, the whole line of everything.
How far down? Okay, let's say this lady is 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
So she is occupying, with her arms out, she's occupying about 5.5 feet of space. Okay, maybe more than that. We're just spitballing here.
Now, she was grabbing at lettuce and then just rubbing it on her body.
Right.
So I feel like you
Which
can't.
that's like a loofah. That's an all-natural loofah.
I feel like you can't just say, well, here's the line and here's the other line. She's not going past this because I think she was reaching. So I think you need to take the entire lettuce section out.
Okay, but all right, here's her feet. All right. Do we go 1 foot, 12 inches away from the bottom of her feet, and then we've got to pull it all out?
No, I feel like you need to take the whole row.
Like just the entire section?
The entire section, and make her pay for it if she's able to. Which I don't know, since you said she was going to steal it. Maybe she's not.
Who steals lettuce?
The devil told her to do it.
Well, it must be the devil because it'd have to be. That's a crazy idea.
Man,
Nobody wants lettuce.
Can you imagine, though, like in your mind, and it's not something to joke about when you have something mentally going on, but can you imagine going to the grocery store and thinking the lettuce is talking to you and stuff? That's a whole nother level.
I mean, I've experienced that in the candy aisle, I'm almost certain, but
That's
never
good stuff.
But never in the produce section.
The lettuce is not telling you nice things.
No.
The candy is like, come eat me, we're best friends,
Right.
we love you.
I know what that's
Where
like.
have you been, Obi? That sort of thing.
I mean, if this lady was laying in the middle of the candy aisle, like rubbing Snickers on her face, I'd just be like, yeah.
That's just a normal day.
It's Tuesday.
I think the lettuce was like hurling insults at her.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've experienced that too, but
the video is very weird.
Yeah. Well,
I think the lettuce has to go. I mean, for safety.
You just need to pull that out.
I mean, she was washing off with it and just throwing the lettuce. And
right, but
the water drains and who knows. And
I hear that you can get like a month out of a loofah and it's still safe. Like after that, I mean, you guys have been using yours for like 4 years, but that's what I...
Yeah, but butter lettuce is completely different.
You feel it's different?
I feel like after one wash, you have to just throw it out.
You just got to let it go.
You do.
All right. Okay. Well,
I feel bad for her because something's going on.
Sure.
Something is obviously going on with her.
Sure.
But I also feel bad because people in the comment section weren't too nice to Kroger about like, well, are they going to take out the lettuce and clean up? And I feel like they weren't expecting much.
I really hope they took the lettuce out.
They have to, I would think.
I'm going to tell you right now, I bought some baby romaine at a Kroger yesterday, okay?
So
I did. That happened. This wasn't my Kroger, but what if it got shipped to my Kroger?
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Look, there's not going to be a time during the day that you're going to say to me, do you want a donut? And I'm going to say no. But, and this is a big but, like the kind you get from a lot of donuts.
Having donuts all the time of the day.
There are circumstances, there are locations that society says is not appropriate for a donut. Like, hey, you know what? You're in bed. You shouldn't be eating a donut. Hey, you're in class. You can't have a donut. Hey,
you're in a meeting sometimes.
Sometimes.
You can have a donut.
You're in the bathroom. You shouldn't be eating a donut right now. It's a problem. But I'll tell you what, society's a lot more relaxed when it comes to jelly beans. You can sneak a jelly bean. You can have a couple in your hand. People don't have to know. You can pretend like you're itching your nose. Whoop, just dropped a jelly bean in your mouth. Nobody's got to know.
Oh, God. You might have a problem if you're doing that last one.
I didn't. You know what?
You're like, is that what is gum? Okay, it's a mint. It's a jelly bean mint.
Little less judgment, Nikki, okay? Like, some people need something to get them through the day. They're getting themselves a little donut fix.
Or a jelly bean fix.
Now, it's possible that you could take a donut and cut it into very small pieces and act like it's a jelly bean. But Jelly Belly has just announced their partnership with Krispy Kreme to bring you
donut-flavored jelly beans or donuts that have jelly beans in them.
This is a jelly bean flavored like a donut.
Ooh, and maybe.
That sounds like something. That sounds like they could really be onto something there.
Could be. Because as long as you didn't get that, just a bad aftertaste with it. You don't want to ruin donuts,
No, you don't, but what if they get it right? Because they've gotten, look, I'll tell you, Jelly Belly has really nailed it at times. Now, I'll admit, like in general, the Starburst jelly bean's my favorite, but they've got some kind of weird deal with some terrible something to be able to boil down flavors into jelly beans.
Some dark force.
I don't want to know how they do it. I don't know. I don't want to know.
We did. It's probably still up on our Radio URIOT YouTube channel, but a few years ago we did the Bean Boozled challenge.
Yes, we did.
And those are the gross, nasty ones. Or
Yes.
you could get a good one.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of really bad ones.
It's not good, guys.
No, and it tastes exactly like what you think that bad flavor would taste like.
All right, well, here's the breakdown on what Jelly Belly
Donuts, yeah.
flavors there are. You've got cinnamon apple filled, strawberry something, original glazed blueberry cake, and chocolate iced with sprinkles.
I would like to try an original because it's like a Krispy Kreme tie-in. So I want to know if they really get the Krispy Kreme flavor.
I'd like to get them all. But I mean, I agree with you. I feel like the glazed is the one that I need to know about the most.
Because if not, it's just going to taste like a blueberry something or a strawberry something.
Right. Ooh, wouldn't you like to eat those? Now, it looks like I want to buy them, but I think I can only get them through Jelly Belly's website right now. But let's see, what do you got? A box of, I don't know, like maybe not. Maybe they'll put them out somewhere else. But right now, I'm showing it as being available online.
We'll keep an eye out, though.
What, doesn't a donut sound great? Doesn't it sound like something?
Notice though, you didn't say, doesn't a jelly bean sound great?
Well, you know, if I'm just eating this jelly bean, this is my stand-in, Nikki. I mean, I'm in a circumstance where I can't have a donut.
True.
I can slip myself one of these Jelly Bellies and pretend.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the Radio U network through the Radio U app or at riot.radiou.com.
Have you considered just eating your hair?